It's Thursday, July 21st, 2016. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights, still recovering from the illness that laid us low last week. And tonight, we're talking about garments and clothes and, to a degree, fashion.
Let's do this.
So those of you who do follow the Patreon, I did a thing a while ago where I explained something I'm doing when I bike. And I am literally still calling the police on every single car I ever encounter when I'm biking that's blocking a bike lane. And
good luck with that.
It's actually working pretty well. So I've noticed something pretty interesting.
Even if it's the police you call? Even if it's a police car?
Yes, actually, I've reported 4 police cars, and they did, I did hang around once over the holiday weekend, 4th of July weekend, and what I saw is eventually this other cop car rolls up, and they talk to each other a little bit, and then both cop cars drove away. Because it's 311, so even if, they don't want to do something, the complaint goes through all this bureaucracy. So, I get all these updates of, all the updates to the ticket and what happened and everything. So I get this sort of, fascinating view inside cops who maybe don't care, but there's a thing that's going to bother them until they go do it.
Why don't you go post about this in Bike Reddit and be like, hey, this works, and maybe you get a whole bunch
Well,
of
I'm expanding a little bit. So John Kelly is joining me now in the crusade. So he's doing it too, because you think we bike hardcore? Our friend John is
all he does is bike.
Yeah, he is.
Does he even have a job?
I don't know what. I never knew what he did for a living other than being a really good photographer and biker.
Yeah, I don't know.
And such. Being a side character.
Being cooler than everyone else.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. But what I noticed, and it's only anecdotal so far, but after I started doing this for several weeks, I basically almost never encounter cars parked in the bike lanes on my way to work anymore, and I used to encounter 5 or 6 a day. So it might have finally started to work because suddenly there aren't people parked in the bike lane anymore. And I'm going to see if this continues. And because I have a log of every time I complain about one, and because I log my commutes every day when I bike, I can actually do a regression analysis down the road and figure out if I had an effect or not, or at least if there's a correlation between me doing this and people not blocking the bike lane anymore. But the other interesting thing is the people who notice me taking down their license plate number, even if I try to be surreptitious, tend to get really mad and yell at me. But then they also get out of the bike lane because they're actually afraid of the cops coming. So it kind of works. We'll see if I get shot, but I'm going to continue doing this, and I think I'm doing the work of the gods. Yatwer would be pleased.
Okay.
So you got any news? Newsday? It's Thursday. It's the lounge. You can talk about anything.
Sure. Nintendo announced
so you agree it's the lounge?
No, whatever. I don't care.
I think Scott's still low energy and ill.
The Nintendo announced they're making that tiny NES that has 30 games in it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even look at what 30 games are in it.
It's a pretty good selection. It's Mario 1, 2, 3, Zelda 1, 2, Metroid, Donkey Kong,
That's the opposite of that kind of thing.
Castlevania 1, 2, Contra, it's
real games,
maybe
the core set.
I don't know. I don't remember if Kirby's Adventure was on there. I think it is.
It better be.
It's pretty much top 30 NES games. There's some in there that are they have Gradius, but they didn't have Life Force. It was Life Force.
Yeah, it's fine. Life Force wasn't actually that good.
What are you talking about?
I do not enjoy Life Force.
Life Force is way better than Gradius. It's the same. I don't know what's wrong with you. Actually, sorry, Salamander. With also the best Famicom cartridge there is. If you've ever seen the cartridge, it's the best one. Anyway, clearly there's some games that are left out, but it's you could have made a much worse selection than this. So the thing is going to be out in November for holiday season. It's going to sell out everywhere. You're not going to be able to get one. The price is going to be way high on eBay. So I'm going to get as many as I can at retail price. Also, they're selling the controller by itself for $10, and it appears that the controller can plug into the bottom of a Wiimote. It's that kind of plug.
Oh, not USB, man.
So you could just buy the controller by itself for $10 for use with your Wii Virtual Console action.
I don't have a Wii.
I do.
Okay.
Or, I'm sure people will be... It's still a brand newly manufactured NES controller. I'm sure people will be making adapters or cutting the cable and making it USB or who knows what, right? Anyway. But yeah, the thing is, I don't need. Who needs one of these?
I've bought all those games so many times in my life.
I have all those games emulated.
I have all those games on cartridges.
Like if you buy
and
one,
emulated.
like if you buy one of these to use, it's like wow. Talk about like I'm always complaining at people who like have extra boxes under their TV because they refuse to go with the HTPC. But it's like this is like the most egregious. You have a box under your TV just for these 30 NES games, even though it's a tiny box. Are you fucking kidding me? And
you know what it could be you good
you're
for,
gonna pay
though?
like $70 for this? Oh my god!
You know
It's
what I would
like-
use it for? If I ran a low rent convention in the video game room, I just put like 10 of these in a row.
Yes, that is a good. See, that's a use for it, right? Because
You can fit those in like one tiny crate.
it is cheaper than an HTPC. So if all you need it for is those games, and you want to say make like an NES game station, or then it has purpose. But
It's also useful
to
if,
buy it for your house to use
here are
frequently.
the people who use this. Like, for example, say you own a bar in a hip part of a town like New York.
Sure, that's a good one.
You put it there and let people just play it. Like
Sounds
that's great. And then every few months one gets smashed and whatever. You bought like 100 of them.
Yep.
Or if you're the kind of person who knows what Nintendo is and has played NES games and enjoys them, but simultaneously don't know how to make emulators go. Like you're just one of those people who doesn't know things.
You could. It's not hard. You could become smarter.
Yeah, I mean, not to disparage people, but NES and SNES emulation is the easiest thing you can do. Like,
I thought you were going to give an excuse for those morons.
no, like, we solved NES emulation when I was still in high school.
It's like the easiest.
Like, it just works. Like,
And you'll get every game and not 30 games.
Yep. I mean, I guess the only hardest part is you have to know how to download an emulator without getting a virus,
Oh my god.
which is actually really hard if you're one of those kinds of people.
Maybe.
Ask some random schmuck to download Putty, and even odds on them downloading a virus instead of Putty.
Well, Putty is a unique situation.
Well, yeah, because it's on a weird website that even every time I download Putty, I'm like, is that really it? Right.
You can't trust
yeah.
that site, yeah.
I mean, I do trust it, but only because I have Gnosis. The anagogic schools would not understand.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I think that thing it's cool, but stuff like that comes out periodically. It's just the best iteration of that kind of thing, and it's the most legit one I've ever seen.
Yeah, but the commercial's pretty good for it. It's,
yeah.
It's an old style. It looks like an old Nintendo commercial for, US Nintendo.
You know what I would love to see that Nintendo would probably never announce? I'd love to know the actual, for real sales numbers of that thing. Because just knowing that...
They're gonna you'll find out.
I don't know. Nintendo's weird and cagey about their actual sales numbers.
No, you can find out how many copies of games have sold, and how
No,
many
but
Wiis
how
have
many?
been
But how
sold.
many copies of that thing? I don't
Yeah.
know if it'll be easy to figure that out.
No, it'll be published.
Think
and-
we will?
Yeah,
I'm going to set a
We know how
Google-
many Wiis were sold and how many. Everyone knows all this stuff.
There's debate as to how the
It's a public.
veracity
It's a
of those
public
numbers.
company.
That doesn't necessarily mean all those things get published the
You'll
way
fi-
you'd expect.
And there's the video game research, whatever that tracks everything.
Hey, they might try to figure it out.
No, I'm saying someone will pay for the report from the ADAR, whatever it is, and then write an article about it.
I'll put it this way: if it sells a lot, that is
It's
real...
gonna sell out.
Yeah, but how
However,
many are they going to make?
It's gonna sell out. It'll be the holiday toy that everyone will buy a million of, and you won't be able to get it when you go to the store.
We'll see. I'm going to put a Google reminder for 6 months from now to check on what happened with this thing.
It'll be it comes out in November, so it'll be all over the news, right? It'll be like, oh my god, 2016's Tickle Me Elmo, the tiny NES.
So, in other news, let me pull it up here. I just bumped into this because I'm one of those people. I buy everything online. I pretty much buy literally everything on Amazon, Newegg, or Fresh Direct.
90% of things plus I buy online.
Like clothes. The only things I don't buy like that are one-off specific ingredients for a specific thing I'm cooking right now, to that day. I guess I don't buy clothes except sports clothes. I'll buy sports clothes online, but I won't buy a nice shirt. I'll go try the nice shirt on in person.
I wouldn't
expensive
buy.
clothes.
Other people do, but I would not buy a bicycle online.
I I did, but I had it delivered to a bike shop to put together for me, and I test rode a very similar model before
Sure,
I
that's
did.
fine. Yeah, but sometimes people buy bikes or bike parts delivered to them and put them together.
Now,
like the way
you know
we
what?
put together a computer.
There was a time I would do that in my life. You know when that time ended? When I started using carbon fiber. I'm not willing to put together carbon fiber shit.
I would buy a car online if I was going to buy a car.
I would definitely buy a car online. There's no even reason to test drive a car anymore.
It's a car. It's going to work.
Yep. Just what features do you want, and how many dollars do you want to give up for that car? But yeah, so basically Amazon. One thing that I've done, I'm wearing them right now because I just got home from biking to work, and also I figured out why I felt like such shit when I got home. I had a notification in my inbox. Not only is it a heat advisory, like danger warning out, like you might die in New York City, like health problems, but the air quality index is like 130 right now. So, like, it's basically just like a soup of poison outside, and it's super hot. So, I'm wearing some bike shorts. Now, because I commute, I wear bike shorts every day, and I wash it. So I wanted a bunch of pairs, so I don't have to do bike short laundry, like, every 2 days. And I didn't want to wear them more than once, because bike shorts start to smell. And while I have some nice, like, real bike butt stuff, I don't want to wear those every time I go to work. So when I went on Amazon and I found a really nice bike short that did what I wanted. It had the butt pads and everything integrated into it. And it was like $10. And I was like, really? $10?
That seems like a knockoff that's going to disintegrate and hurt and not fit well.
So I bought one because I was like, wow, that's a $10 lottery ticket. Like, sure. And I put them on, and they're not the best bike shorts in the world. But they're fine for biking under like 100 miles over the course of a day.
Did they disintegrate in the washing machine?
Nope. So I washed them a bunch of times. They were just great. So I bought like 8 more pair. And I just have them piled up. And Emily and I can wear them both. So we just share them. And they're just like, I just wear these things. And they're great. They are totally like Chinese bootleg bullshit. Like, this is the kind of thing where some company clearly makes like quote unquote real branded bike shorts by day for some company. And then at night, they just illegally make a whole bunch more and sell them illegitimately on places like Amazon. Now, as a consumer, this is great because I just basically got a really well-constructed product for almost no money when I would have to pay like $80 to get this thing legit from the company that actually sells the quote-unquote official version of it.
Right, because you only have to pay for the manufacturing and shipping. You don't have to pay for the designing and the marketing.
The manufacturing is pretty much the same as the real thing.
Yeah.
So, on the other hand, I'm looking up, in fact, I just picked up in my hand, to a couple of different batteries that I've bought for my camcorder. So
Are they wasabi batteries?
This is a legitimate Panasonic battery.
All right, that's safe.
That I paid $110
There are
for.
bootleg batteries that are somewhat difficult to tell apart from legit ones.
Yep.
That will actually say like Sony or Panasonic on them, but there's guides online for how to tell they're fake.
Yeah. So this battery costs like $110. I also bought a bunch of wasabi batteries.
Wasabi is legit.
They're mostly legit. Their batteries have let's say wide ranges of actual operating voltages.
I have never had a problem with the wasabi battery.
I have had many problems with wasabi batteries.
Oh,
Partly
that's news to me.
So my camera worked with wasabi batteries great, and the wasabi batteries lasted like twice as long as the official battery. Well, like 50 to 70% longer, let's say. Not actually double, but they're significantly longer. They held a much bigger charge. They didn't lie. They even said they held a bigger charge, meaning they're just more dangerous.
Yep.
But after like 2 months, suddenly the camera would be like, oh shit, voltage warning, and shut down.
Oh.
And that happened to me with every wasabi battery I ever bought. Within 6 months of purchase, failed in that manner except one, and I still use that one. So wasabi is also hit or miss. But if you have to rank...
For my camera, I have 1 legit and 2 wasabi batteries. They all work perfectly. They've always worked perfectly.
I think a difference is that this is an old camcorder and it actually draws a lot of power, like way more than you'd expect. And I think it has like tighter tolerances for what it can deal with in terms of the battery. This is only a 2600 milliamp
I've also
hour
used
battery.
wasabi batteries in my GoPro. Never had a problem.
Oh yeah, and the GoPro wasabi batteries work fine, but the wasabi batteries for my like big camcorder, not great. But bootleg batteries are this other ball game because the legit batteries are real expensive. The next tier down are the batteries that are not counterfeits. They just happen to have the same form factor. Like they'll work with the official thing, but they're not the official thing, and they don't even pretend they're the official thing. They're like, yeah, this is a Sony battery. Yeah, good luck, have fun. Not even gonna lie to you, dude. That we made this in a factory. It'll give you 7-ish volts. Go nuts. At least those don't lie to you. The most dangerous batteries are the ones that say they're the official battery, but they're not, because that shit is just like we're counterfeiting stuff. Like there's probably just like a bag of sand in there, just like some battery acid, but no actual battery. It's just a rock. But the point is, Amazon has pretty much every bootleg thing in the world is in there, and it's often real hard to figure out if a listing is a legitimate thing or a bootleg thing.
Check the reviews.
Yeah, but it's hard. With technical things, the reviews always work because there's always people who are like, they know their shit, and they're like, this is clearly a bootleg Shuttle Pro because the real Shuttle Pro has this extra button, blah, blah, blah.
One time I was buying a Lenovo laptop battery on Amazon, and I thought it might be bootleg because it was so cheap. So I messaged Amazon, and I said, is this real? And they said, if it's not real, we'll refund you. And I got it, and it was real.
So Birkenstock decided that
they make hippie sandals.
That they make the best sandals, though. Like, I'm not going to lie, like, this might date us as being a little bit old and white, but they're pretty much the best sandals in the world. Like, I wear them.
They're okay. They're hippie sandals.
Yeah, but they're just real comfortable. Yeah. And also, they are one of the few sandal people who have the 3-strap sandal. Fuck the 2-strap or the 1-strap. And toe holes are the worst possible sandal. But Birkenstock and all their subsidiaries were like, Amazon, nothing we make will ever be legitimate on Amazon. We refuse to do business with Amazon.
Amazon doesn't care.
Yeah. So if you ever see a Birkenstock thing on Amazon, it is definitely a bootleg.
So it's probably just as good and looks the same and costs less.
Yep.
So but all they're doing is losing their own sales.
Well, the problem
and also, I only buy shoes on Zappos, which is also Amazon. So did they take their stuff off Zappos also?
I don't think so.
But Zappos doesn't sell bootlegs. You can't list your stuff on Zappos. But Zappos is the only place I'd go to buy shoes.
Well, see, that's the thing. I only buy shoes on Zappos because
even though Zappos is Amazon.
While I don't care.
But it's not. But it is.
Birkenstock. Yeah, it's all there.
Yeah, all right. So,
but the thing is, on Zappos, they're pretty expensive and they're good sandals.
Well, Zappos was never a discount place like Amazon.
Yeah,
is.
Zappos is just
excellent customer service, normal price.
It's like going to B&H to buy like some video equipment. Like, yeah, it's expensive, but there's someone there who actually knows about it.
It's not expensive. It's just normal price.
Yeah, but normal price is expensive in the modern world of zero see through anything. So. Basically, what the problem Birkenstock saw was that no one ever bought the legit sandals on Amazon, so taking them off Amazon doesn't actually hurt them. People only bought the bootlegs because the bootlegs were like $20.
You're not going to make Amazon stop selling the bootlegs, though.
So they've tried, because it is illegal for Amazon to continue to let them sell these things, and Amazon basically just doesn't do it, doesn't deal with it, doesn't respond, and kind of just lets the marketplace be the Wild West. As far as I can tell, this wasn't a huge problem until relatively recently when Amazon changed its rules.
I feel like there's been bootleg stuff on Amazon for a long time.
There was, but it got way worse when they changed their rules and allowed Chinese manufacturers to sell goods directly on Amazon, which was not allowed before.
So how were they doing it before? They had shell companies.
You'd at least have a shell company or an importer or someone like laundering the counterfeit goods. But now, the company that makes the bootlegs can just straight up sell the bootlegs.
So
direct.
you don't need your Art Vandalay anymore?
No more importer-exporter. So if you want to buy chips, legitimate chips. So I don't really have a moral here. It's just this is a very interesting problem because on one hand, if you buy a bootleg that's just a night run from a factory, it is literally as good as the official version. You're basically just stealing from the company that paid to do all the research and design and marketing. But if you buy a bootleg that is a knockoff in the sense of someone just copied someone else's design independently and sells a shitty version of it, you're basically paying less for a shit tier version.
Right. It's like I'm fine buying something that's just as good as the original, like a Wasabi battery. I just don't want to buy a bootleg if it's not going to work. For example, I recently bought this thing that plugs into the bottom of the iPad and lets you connect an SD card to get the photos onto the iPad.
Oh, my phone just takes SD cards.
Full-size ones?
Well, mini ones. But I can put the 64 gig one in there.
You can anyway. So
That's a 64 gig, just hanging out.
So I can load raw photos into Lightroom Mobile anyway, which they just added as a feature. So
Oh, I did not notice that.
yeah. Anyway, so Apple sells one of these things for a bunch of money, and I'm like, well, here's the price of the Apple Store. I could stop and get one at the Apple Store on the way home, but let's see how much they are on Amazon. So I find it on Amazon. And then I read the comments, and the comments are like, this is not legit product. This is a Chinese thing that didn't even work. And I'm like, oh, well, if it doesn't work, I'll buy the legit one that's overpriced, right? But if that one worked, I don't care if it's Chinese, as long as it works.
Yeah,
but
I guess
sometimes it doesn't work.
I guess the real danger I see is that in the race to the bottom of, most people just buy the cheapest version of anything. And we do know what one of the end games of that is. You've seen how airplanes are. Economy is nightmare mode if you're flying overseas, and anything better costs an order of magnitude more money, and there's nothing in between.
Right, but if the price difference there is too big, I can't afford the quality that I want, right?
Yep.
Whereas here, it's like, if I can afford the level of quality that I want, I'm going to get it.
But the knockoffs, especially with technology, are often dangerous or like broken in some way that a normal person wouldn't understand.
Yeah, that's no good. But the bike shorts you got were fine.
Yeah. But at the same time, I went into the bike shorts knowing, one, I knew 100% that this might be some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think most people buying the cheapest battery on Amazon know that it might be some bullshit. I think they see the Sony battery and they're like, looks legit.
Mm.
It's just all an interesting thing that there's no good answers. I mean, globalization and all these issues are just culminated into an unanswerable question that no nation is willing to deal with, and everyone has complex
Listen,
opinions.
companies want to benefit from free trade, having their stuff made in China. Well, then it's not just companies that should be benefiting from the free trade. Individual people should be benefiting the same way as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
If you don't want the free trade, then either everyone has the free trade or no one has the free trade. That's the choice. It's got to be equal. You can't be like, oh, companies, if you have a company, you can buy stuff from China for free. But if you're an individual person, no, we can't no, fuck you.
Yep. That's why I'm very much kind of for decreasing free trade.
Right. All the people who complain about globalization, right, it's like they're complaining, that they want to end it, right? They're against it. But it's like, no, really, I'm for it as long as I can benefit from it individually as well. Right? Then the problem goes away.
Well, you know what? Let's put a water one. As long as it is the tide that rises with all the ships in the harbor. It can't be like there's one giant megacorp ship sitting in a lock and it goes up and down and everyone else is just dried out on the beach.
Exactly. And, splooshed by the waves in the wake of the giant ship.
Yeah, my metaphor is already breaking down, but you know what I mean. But yeah, anyway, the only other news, it is interesting how many of you were texting me and messaging me when this was going on, because I literally went into the subway to go on a trip. But yeah, Turkey had a coup, and all my friends are safe, except for a few friends who they're safe. But I realized in retrospect, 4 days before the coup, I have a couple of people I know who basically were like, yo, dog, so here's my resume, just in case anything hinky happens. If you ever need someone who speaks Turkish and knows tech, I might be moving to the States real soon.
Yeah, you got an H-1B or green card? Good luck.
Actually, most of them went to Canada. Canada is where anyone who was smart, who had money in Turkey and is young and had a tech skills, even if they didn't GTFO, they got visas to go to Canada for long periods of time.
Isn't Canada way colder than Turkey?
Turkey's actually pretty temperate. Turkey is a little bit warmer than New York.
I mean, it has mountains where it snows, but I can't imagine it snowing on the Mediterranean coast.
Turkey is surprisingly similar to a Great Lakes climate in a lot of ways.
Does lake effect snow from the Mediterranean?
In terms of the water around, especially Istanbul and that part of Turkey. I mean, obviously, Turkey's huge.
They got snow plows there?
Parts of Turkey are by Syria.
They play ice hockey somewhere that's not the mountain?
No. Take everything and shift it one step warmer, but otherwise there's a similar vibe.
Uh-huh.
And again, that's just Istanbul.
All I'm saying, if you leave
region.
Turkey to go to Canada, we should invest in coats.
Well, most of them that I know, at least, they actually went to Vancouver, which has really warm summers.
Oh, Vancouver's fine.
Yeah, I mean, winters are death there, but
That's
summers are nice.
the least cold part of.
And also one of the worst. It's the winter is awful, but the Sunshine Coast is called the Sunshine Coast for a reason. Things of the day.
What was my thing of the day?
Okay, so this is a YouTube series. It's only 6 episodes. It's short. It has super high production values. So each episode is 3 minutes long, but it's basically Sesame Street. like puppets and teaching kids about creativity and imagination and all these things. But remember that video we used this thing today a long time ago? The it's like the pre-roll to a drive-in theater, like go get your snacks before the movie starts.
Yeah.
And then it slowly gets sinister and then it gets creepy.
Mm-hmm.
The show is
Our
basically
Happy Tree Friends.
This is like that. Don't hug me, I'm scared. It's kind of disturbing, really well done. And those of you who listen to the weird stuff I put at the end of the episode for the patrons and the Patreon, this is where I've been getting the clips from for the past week.
Well, this is your internet weird kind of shit you
It's
like.
really good, though. Like, this would not be out of place in a film festival or on television late at night.
Mm-hmm.
Warning, like, for real, the music in it will get really badly stuck in your head.
So the Sega Saturn, one of the somewhat forgotten but also awesome and important gaming consoles of history.
It's a very important console, and it had some legendary games. That
Some
have
very
never-
legendary games.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the Sega Saturn has been a problem for a long time because it uses a disk drive of opticalness. And the problem is that those disk drives are wearing out. If you buy a Sega Saturn, it's kind of not easiest to find one with like a working CD-ROM drive. And also, there was a DRM system for those CD-ROM drives that was actually rather fancy and hard to get around. It had they made custom CDs that had like a wavy line drawn on the first ring of the bottom, and it's like you can't make your CD-ROM burn that. So if you want to burn a disc and put it into a Saturn, you basically can't. All right, so the Sega Saturn also, on the inside of it, the hardware was really complex. Like, it has 2 CPUs, and it has a separate CPU just for the CD-ROM. It's a really complex kind of hardware. It's it's like an arcade hardware, basically. It's sort of a miracle that people made games for this thing. So some guy, he had this project where he was going to figure out how that CD-ROM actually fucking worked and how that whole system worked, so that he could basically rescue the Sega Saturn. And he basically went above and beyond the Call of Duty and managed to create a board that you could put in the expansion slot in the back, and then just forget about your CD-ROM, just load games through the back. All right, no problem. So he made a video explaining everything. And if you don't know enough about computers, you might not understand everything he's talking about. But maybe even then you'll still learn something about computers.
Oh, right, D. I'm just looking at all these Sega Saturn games.
And you'll learn something really fascinating about the Sega Saturn and CD-ROMs and gaming and cool stuff. So
yeah, this is way beyond the 6-pin mod chip I soldered into my PlayStation.
Right, even if you're never going to use this or play any Sega Saturn games, though you should, you can learn a lot of awesome stuff from this guy's video. He's like a mad genius of, hardwares and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to maybe this developing further so that I could play some of those long-lost Saturn games. Well, they're not long-lost, but, I've never been able to play them easily. Crime Wave. There's that one Japanese one that's that's supposed to be the best game ever, but no one in the U.S. can play it. Even just to play something like that fighting game I think it was called Fighters Megamix. That had the robot and the police girl and whatever, and then there are a lot of Saturn. Even just playing Saturn Bomberman, it's come on.
Yeah, I mean the Sega Saturn's not the emulators for it are not great as far as I can tell either. So.
Well, the emulator people have learned from the things this guy learned to greatly improve their emulator.
Oh, that actually makes sense.
All right, so
it makes a lot of sense.
At least the part of the emulator that cares about CD-ROMs.
In the Meta Moment, we are going to be live at PAX West 2016, The Grind, on Saturday, September 3rd at 5 p.m. in the Chicken Theater.
So I actually bought 2 tickets to PAX West Prime.
Yeah, Ro might
that I now
need them.
don't need.
Ro might.
Okay, good.
Because she got caught up. She was accused of being a scalper.
Really?
By the coup system. I don't know if she lost her badges or not, but there are many reports of people who got badges taken away who were not scalpers.
They got some false positives. That's not good.
Yeah, because I know our friends. No one we know has ever scalped a PAX badge.
Yeah, I wonder what they did that triggered it.
So from what I can gather, it was because 2 different sets of badges ended up getting delivered to the same street address, and that was enough to flag it.
Oh, Jeremy also bought badges separately?
Something like that. I don't know the full story, but
Oh.
that was the most common theme was like roommates in a house, mostly like college students were like 4 of them would all buy 4 badges each separately, but they all lived in the same like street address. And that was the kind of thing that triggered it. Anyway, we'll see. If our friends don't need them, then yeah, one of you lucky people might be able to get them.
Yeah.
'Cause
I could use the money they cost
This
me.
is our 40th PAX panel. We've never paid for a PAX. We go every year. They invite us back to every PAX to do panels, and yet every year I'm so paranoid and terrified that they won't bring us back for some reason.
At least for Prime, I am.
Yeah,
I'm not
like,
worried about any other PAXs.
No, like if they didn't invite us to PAX South, I probably just wouldn't go. Or PAX East, like but PAX Prime, I would go to.
Well,
even
PAX
if,
South, I can just buy a ticket if they don't accept our panel.
True, but PAX East, like,
PAX
I would
East,
not
I'm
go.
enforcing. So.
Yeah, so we can go if we want to, but Australia, they pretty much told us we could do a panel. We just got to decide if we're going to. You want to go? We got Patreon
You
money.
can go somewhere else.
Where are you gonna go? We could save that Patreon money and do a
Someplace
giant.
with a palm tree.
Want to do an Essen extravaganza with the Patreon?
We're going
money?
to Essen in 2018. I guess this year I want to go someplace with palm trees.
All right, you go to Northern Australia,
Anywhere with a palm tree.
Brisbane, Cairn,
Palm tree.
Florida. Just go to Florida.
No, it's
$100
boring.
round trip.
It's boring.
Go to I don't know Singapore.
That's not the nicest place.
Hong Kong's super nice.
It's not. Also has problems.
What? Like what? What problems would you have in Hong Kong?
None, probably.
Yeah. Its problems do not affect us. We are not booksellers, nor are we agitators for democracy. In other meta news, now remember how I said that now that we're back and we're not sick and Kineticon's behind us, we're going to start cranking content out? Scott is going to be making a shit ton of video this weekend. And
Well,
unless the weather's super good.
Maybe at night.
Yeah. And I uploaded episode 15 of GeekNights Presents Utena. And not only get a ton of views, but holy shit, there are a lot of comments. Like, you guys are into this show. I'm actually...
Yeah, how many?
So there's 41 comments on it now, and I just uploaded the video like this morning, or yesterday morning.
That's not a lot of comments.
For us, that's a lot of comments. The
Are
only
we
video-
that sad that 41 comments are good?
Dude, if we get like 30 or 40,000 views on a video, I consider that pretty good because there's not a wide audience for what we do. What is the audience of people who not only know what anime is, know what Utena is, and want to watch us talk about it for like 40 minutes an episode?
I hope that audience would be 0.
That audience is 5,000 or 6,000 at least, as far as I can tell.
That's too much audience.
Yeah. So it's up, and we're going to make a whole bunch more stuff as soon as we can. The Civ 5 videos I'm going to crank out. I got an Atari Games Time video to put out. We're both still coughing. So, yeah, that's all I got. The book club book, Oryx and Crake.
The book that I read in 6 hours, and you said you would have read by today, but
I said I would read it for the next Thursday show.
Yeah, you previously said you would have had it read by today, but then
I said I said I'd have it
You
read by
said-
today like weeks ago.
that's like saying, that's like if Monday I say I'll have it done by Friday, and then on Tuesday I say I'd have it done by 3 Fridays from now.
Yeah.
And I say, but I said I'd have it done by 3 Fridays from now. Yeah, you also said you would have had
Yeah.
it done by this Friday.
I changed the date because the Prince of Nothing book came out and I had to read it.
I'm reading Prince of Nothing also. I didn't have a problem doing
Because you were
both.
already done. I started reading this book, the Prince of Nothing book.
Listen, you had months to read this book.
Yeah, so did you, and you just read it recently.
It took 6 hours.
Yeah, I'm going to the beach this weekend, so I'll read it this weekend
Uh-huh.
for sure.
Uh-huh.
It'll take me 6 hours.
So we had to come up with an alternate show idea.
Yep, and that alternate show idea is clothing
Great.
because we did it. It was your idea.
Great crab people you got there.
I had other ideas, but you don't want to talk about the.
We had a
RNC.
perfect show idea, but, you didn't do it.
We can talk about the Prince of Nothing book about Shinji and his dad.
I only read half of it so far.
So far, half this book is, hey, come with me to talk to my dad. That's
That's
what's
only the
going
most
on.
recent chapter. That's half the book?
There's another dad,
Oh, sure. Okay, whatever.
and there's a third dad.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people going to talk to their dads.
Everybody's going to talk to their dad. That's what's going on.
It's all the sons going towards dads.
Yep. But
Daddy issues all over the world.
we've done shows on shoes. We've done
Figurative
shows,
and literal dads.
We've done shows on underwear specifically back in 2008. We've done shows on a bunch of like oddly specific things. We did a show on fire once. That's what happens when you do like 1,200 shows over the course of 11 years. But we've never done a show on the concept of clothing our naked bodies in garments of some fashion.
Well, first of all, personally, other than protection from weather and elements, Like, I wouldn't be perfectly fine going somewhere where clothes weren't a thing.
I would pretty much, like, on a day like today, if I could get away with it, like, if it weren't for the fact that, like, my office building wouldn't let me in, I would not wear shirts. Like, I would just not wear a shirt. But I would wear something over my genitals and butt.
I mean, just for protection from the elements. Like, and the thing is,
but also to protect the elements from me. It's protection both from and for the elements. For example,
right? It's like
I don't like to be naked. I don't want to sit in my office chair naked because now there's butt all over my office chair.
Exactly. But also, it's also like in terms of other people, like a lot of people don't want to be naked because they don't want other people to see them. Like, oh, you've seen me. Oh, no. But it's like, I don't care if you see me naked. The thing
what
is,
do you see?
I'm afraid that you don't want to see me naked. So that's, that's why I'd be like, I won't like just change in the middle of a room of people because pretty sure they don't want to see that.
Yep. So it's interesting. I've gone through different phases of clothing. Like when I was really young, like elementary school, from what I can remember, and like even before elementary school, I cared a lot about what, like I wanted to be fashionable, I guess, and I cared a lot about what clothes I wore. But at the same time, I was super picky about it, and I would just spend forever trying to decide what clothes to buy, and my parents would just buy shit for me without my permission because they didn't want to deal with it, and then I just gave up and never cared about clothes again.
My caring about fashion is pretty much, I don't want to advertise something on my body that I don't like. So I won't. That's why.
You don't wear Nazi uniforms. Good. Done.
That's a good one. But like, for example, there's a lot of clothing stores you go to. Like underneath my previous office, like a block away from my current office, there is a Superdry. And if you go to Superdry, I'm advertising them now, I guess. Fuck them.
They make okay stuff.
You look at their stuff, and actually, I can't deny their clothes are way cool. Like I would buy those clothes. But they're overpriced, of course. But
not by that much.
They all say Superdry all over them, all over the fucking place. It's like, dude, if you just took your fucking logos off those clothes, I would buy them. So I end up going to Uniqlo, because when you go to Uniqlo, the only place it says on the clothing, anything, is on the tag on the inside.
See, now, Scott,
when you buy a red shirt there, it's a fucking red shirt. It's just red.
Scott, on one hand, I see where you're coming from. Like, when you see a person who's wearing just like a Coca-Cola shirt, you're like, why?
Exactly.
But at the same time, I don't care that much. And definitely with fashion, there is definitely the brand itself is part of the fashion, whether or not you take that as a pure commercialist nihilist view.
No, it is a part of the fashion. But
and that's
the only fashion decision that I care about.
The Superdry logo that just says Superdry, I kind of like.
I don't like that.
Like, I don't mind it.
I
would wear it.
PAX logo. I'll wear a PAX logo.
Well, like right now, I'm wearing an Under Armour logo just because they put their logo on all their shit, and that's actually, that's a trend. That's something that's changed in my life a lot. I used to wear nerd shirts or dress shirts or like more clothes like that, but as time has gone on, I've replaced a lot of the kinds of clothes that I used to own with technical sports gear. Like, I threw away every undershirt I owned, and the only undershirts I have are various forms of technical or specialist like sports fabric. Like either form-fitting or compression or like moisture wicking or those super, super thin ones that Uniqlo has.
I mean, I'll wear stuff in a situation where it's warranted, but like,
But like, I'll use them as undershirts. Like,
how much of that do I really need?
But like, if I need an undershirt under like dress clothes, I'll wear like a fancy sweat wicking like Under Armour thing.
I'll just wear a regular undershirt. Why?
Well, because then they don't wick the sweat and I get sweaty or they're uncomfortable. Or
I don't have those problems.
I don't know. I prefer to be more comfortable. Also,
it's not any more comfortable.
What do you mean by a regular undershirt? Do you mean like a cotton undershirt?
Yeah, like a t-shirt.
Ugh. Why would you ever wear that under a nice shirt?
Why not?
Because one, it creates unpleasant lines because the shirt is obviously a nice form-fitted shirt. You're ruining the lines.
It doesn't.
Two,
that doesn't seem to happen.
That just means you wear.
It doesn't bother me, and I don't care.
That just means you wear too baggy shirts for one. Two, you don't want the collar to show. The collar of the undershirt. When? Why? The only time you ever want to collar the show is if you're unbuttoning the upper collar and you want that color accent. And frankly, I don't like that style.
You can also... See, this is the thing. You care about all these styles. I don't give a shit about styles.
All right. 3.
You could also wear a V-neck t-shirt and then the collar doesn't show.
Regular cotton
undershirts. If you really care about that.
Don't wick sweat, and that's just uncomfortable.
I don't have sweat unless I do something athletic.
I'm always doing athletic stuff.
You're running around and you're wearing dress clothes?
I'm walking quickly.
You sweat just walking quickly?
I think I walk faster than you now.
I walk pretty fast, and I don't sweat unless I actually am exercising.
Most important, the fancy technical stuff never smells bad no matter how much you sweat.
Yeah, my clothes don't smell bad unless I wear them like 3 or 4 times.
And also kind of the side thing, the nice clothes like this, they move the seams. They don't have seams like on the top. The seams are all out of the way, so they'll never chase and never mess up your lines.
I never had those problems.
Okay, I care about this. Also, you don't run. Like, you don't do most active sports.
I'm not running if I'm wearing dress clothes.
Yeah.
I have active type things, but I don't have a lot of them because I only wear them when it's time to do something active. I don't wear them just like every day.
So I do active stuff. Like I bike to work every day, so I wear like sports clothes every day.
You're wearing, but you underneath dress clothes, you go to a fancy party, you gotta wear sports clothes underneath.
No, so in that case I don't. But like when I'm working a convention and I got like the staff shirt, like the enforcer shirt, I wear the sacrificial undershirt so I don't get the enforcer shirt sweaty because I only got one of them for 3 or 4 days.
I've worn the enforcer shirt for 3 or 4 days and it's never been smelly or sweaty.
I don't know.
Because I'm not a sweaty beast.
On Sunday, we'll give your enforcer shirt a nice sniff and see how it smells.
Go for it.
All right. It'll be the enforcer undershirt challenge.
All right.
All right, fine. I'll put it this way, Scott. Independent of us and our magic powers, imagine the average person out there, normal American. They need to be wearing don't smell bad clothes.
They need to, if they smell bad, stop smelling bad.
But it's baked in, it's marinated.
That's fix your body.
But
fix your broken body.
But basically, the other difference is, like, when I used to travel, like, I'd wear jeans when I flew, or I'd wear, like, pajamas when I flew sometimes. Like, I would just wear something that seemed comfortable or just normal clothes. Changing to wearing, like, technical fabrics or, like, sports clothes. Like, I have some pants that are basically only for, like, hiking and travel and that kind of stuff. Holy shit, is that a billion times more comfortable when you're on a flight for 12 hours than wearing, like, any form of jeans.
Yeah, I have really comfortable jeans. They're just like, ah.
Yeah, but jeans have, like, bits in the back that'll dig into your butt or waist if you're sitting for 12 hours in a row.
If you have uncomfortable jeans that have those bits.
See,
that's the thing, is I might not care about styles or lines or whatever the fuck you're paying attention to, but comfort and fitting properly is like, you know, basically...
All jeans have a seam that comes up near the butt.
I've never had any pains associated with any seam on a jean.
Did you wear jeans flying to Australia?
I think I wore shorts because it was warm.
Okay.
But I mean, I've worn
jeans. Shorts are too cold on a plane like that.
I've worn jeans on planes many times.
Yes, I wear jeans if I fly
issue.
like 4 or 5 hours, but most of my flights are like 12 to 25 hours. So I wear.
I mean, some jeans are definitely more comfortable than others, right? Like, there's that huge trend of like selvage. There's all these like selvage denim, which is basically denim that's stiff as a fucking board.
Yeah, not comfortable.
And it's like, yeah, why would you wear that?
I'm not gonna lie.
And they're like, oh, you break it in, never wash it, just keep wearing it and never wash it. And I'm like, get out of my face, you dirty hippie. I'm gonna get some soft jeans that are nice.
I used to wear normal, heavy, traditional denim jeans, and I used to have that sort of disdain for the not just denim jeans. But now all my jeans are like denim, rayon, denim, spandex hybrids. Like, all my jeans are basically stretch pants that look like jeans.
I just get the soft ones that are comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't even pay attention. And
I do get the super tight jeans, though.
I mean, you know, that's the other thing. It's like, you know, people who care about fashion, there's always things that are in fashion and out of fashion, right? But the truth is, if you were to say dress in, you know, 70s fashion, 80s fashion, 90s fashion, and you pick any decade, 1890s fashion, right? Pick any decade, take something that's fashionable at that moment, that fits you properly and is comfortable, and if you wear it today, you'll look great. You can wear
Scott.
what was in fashion in the 40s today.
Bell-bottoms, large sunglasses, huge sideburns.
Sure, I see people walking down the street like that occasionally, and as long as you do it, you know, it's like, if they would have looked great then, they look great now. But obviously, you can do any fashion poorly if you wear things that don't fit or don't match or...
Well, don't match is the most important one. The people who just add a trilby or fedora to
you can go to the store and buy
just unmatched clothes.
You can buy 2010s fashion, the latest trends, and get something that doesn't fit you and doesn't match, and you'll look hideous. And you can get something that's so out of style from the 90s, you know, but totally fits you and totally matches, and you could look great in it. It's, you know, it's like you don't got to pay attention to what the trends are. You just have to get something that is good no matter when.
Yep. One trouble I've had, though, is that my typical, like, the clothes I typically wear if I'm not doing sports and I'm not, like, dressing nicely for some reason is either board shorts and a Hawaiian shirt or jeans and a nerd shirt.
Yeah, I wear jeans and a nerd shirt, or shorts and a nerd shirt, or shorts.
I don't wear shorts and a nerd shirt that much anymore. If I wear shorts, I pretty much always wear a Hawaiian shirt just because that way I can unbutton it.
I'll wear a shirt like this, which is a collar on it, which is basically just a t-shirt with a collar and buttons. Or, in the winter, I will wear like a long sleeve shirt, and then since it's so fucking cold, a sweater on top of that because it's so fucking cold.
But I do, over time, it sort of grew on me. I really like Hawaiian shirts now, even though I one time in a distance past did not. And that sort of
you got that style, that old guy with the mustache and the Hawaiian shirt. That's your style.
And my Birkenstocks and my board shorts.
Right, that's who you are.
But I actually like older, like for real Hawaiian shirts more than like just happens to be a short sleeve shirt that has a dumb pattern on it, and it's the fabric and the sewing and the cut and the feel way more than what it looks like. Like I don't really care about the ugly patterns that are traditional on those kinds of shirts. I just like the fact that I can leave it unbuttoned in the summer, and it basically lets me be wearing a shirt technically, but not really wearing a shirt. It's basically just kind of a cape with little like armholes in it. Like that's my style.
There's actually, there's a lot of people in the world who have like more quote extreme fashions, right? Like, some crazy goth type person who wears like a crazy giant shoes,
like a lifestyler, like they have a set, like Gothic Lolita.
Like there's a lifestyle fashion thing, and actually, I've thought about that from time to time. Like, I could probably do some of those, and you know why I don't? It's so much fucking effort. Fuck that.
Yep. The problem I have
is wake up in the morning. Like, imagine if I was like gonna be all like metal and wear like spikes and shit, and like get some tattoos. It's so much fucking work. You wake up every morning and deal with all that nonsense.
Well, it's more that
and for what? For nothing.
To have a wardrobe of anything beyond just formal wear and everything else in sportswear, you got to buy that stuff in person. And what I was saying at the beginning of the show, I buy everything online. So I only go clothes shopping when I have run like an article of clothing that I have is worn out, and I'm short on that article of clothing.
And then I have to do when I'm doing laundry too often because I don't have enough of a cloth is when I buy a cloth. And usually it's because I take some old clothes and give them to the Goodwill because they're all messed up.
Yep. But like,
and then it's like, oh shit, I don't have enough shorts because I just get 4 of them to Goodwill. So I've only got 3
I own enough
now.
nerd shirts to where I rotate them such that none of my nerd shirts are wearing out, so I can't buy more because I have enough nerd shirts to live like a month never doing laundry.
Well, sometime, over time, eventually, a shirt will wear out and I'll have to retire it to the under the bed storage.
That doesn't happen to me anymore. Look at GeekNights videos of our lectures from like 2008, and I'm wearing the same t-shirts that I wear now.
Yeah, no, t-shirts last a long time, but still, some of them, like, they don't last forever.
Well, that real life shirt.
Well, that one is like the oldest of the old.
Cafe Press, whatever.
But I'm not talking about, like, by not drying them, you can preserve the art on the front, but other things will happen. Like, maybe they'll stretch out, or maybe you'll get a stain on them, or, things can happen, right? That can make a shirt go in.
But, like, even
like,
though,
I had some shirts that are perfectly good, they have a tiny hole in them, and I'm like, what is that? It's like, is that a moth that made that hole? Where'd the fuck that hole come from? But it's like, well, oh well.
But, like, my sportswear, I do a ton of research, and I buy, like, very specific clothing for very specific reasons and purposes, and I spend a lot of time on it because then I know what I want and I can just order it online. Don't have to go anywhere. But with real clothes, like normal clothes, I have to go to a clothing store, and I only go to a clothing store when I need, like, I'm like, oh no, my linen jacket that I wear all the time at conventions is fucking worn out and I need new ones. And pretty much because I hate going to stores, even though I could do that same level of research and care and like go buy like a bunch of really nice Hawaiian shirts, I don't. I just go to Uniqlo or H&M or one of those places, usually both of them because they're like next to each other in this one neighborhood.
They're cheap and they have everything in one store.
And I walk into the store and I just walk around and as soon as I find like, oh, here's a pair of jeans that fits me and looks good to replace the jeans I had before, I buy like 5 pairs of jeans that are the same one, just different colors, because that's the maximum like output of clothes per input of time in a store. And then while I'm there, I go over to the shirt section. I'm like, are there any Hawaiian shirts here that are good? And I look at them all, and if there are, I buy them all, and if there aren't, I don't.
Yeah,
so
I do the same thing where I buy different color because it's like you could do the Steve Jobs where you just buy the same exact thing 100 times. But it's like, I'll buy a different color. I don't want.
Yeah.
Imagine if you went to work every day doing the same exact clothes. Yeah, that would be like, uh-huh.
When Project Smash Mouth concludes, maybe I'll do that instead. I'll wear the same color shirt every day until someone says something.
The advantage is no one knows if you did your laundry and they can't challenge you on it.
Yup.
Whereas it's like I'm mostly worried. The only reason I change clothes really is because I need to let people know that, yes, I have done laundry. Look at me. I change clothes.
Before I was like respected in my career enough to where people knew who I was and I could kind of like, I didn't have to keep selling myself anymore. Like when I was trying to rise through corporate ranks and everything, like in the old days, like when I first got my jobs in Wall Street and IBM, like I dressed up to work every day. Like I wore like a suit, not a tie, but I wore like a suit and a dress shirt and like nice pants. And like I dressed up every day. And I always tried, my rule was always look at all the people who are at my level in the company and all the people who are a level above me, and I would dress better than the most slovenly person above me. That was like my rule. Now that I kind of just like am an unfireable person who like knows stuff and could trivially get a job, I literally wore just like a compression Under Armour shirt and bike shorts to the office today and like no sock bike shoes. Because I just don't care.
Yeah, in terms of like office, people always talk about like dress for the job you want and shit.
I am. I'm wearing bike shirts and bike shorts.
Right.
I'm dressing for the job I want.
You know what? At least at my company, I don't know about any other companies. That's total bullshit. Because like there are people who are in my team who are like there's another Scott. He dresses like like real dress clothes. He cares a lot about fashion. He's always like dressing up every day.
Has he been promoted?
No.
So
yeah,
I got a terrible story that corroborates
and there's
what you
people
said.
dressing like way shabbier than me every day, and that doesn't affect it, right? It's like no one gives a shit.
So when I was at the broker dealer, when I first started working for like Wall Street nonsense, and I dressed up every day, and the dress code at the company was way under what I was dressing as. So I dressed up, and then like my coworkers, like we all started dressing up in my one department, and no one else in the company did except management. And later on, the company put out a thing, and they were like, we're relaxing the dress code. You guys can basically wear whatever the fuck you want to the office. Like shorts, don't care, go nuts. Just don't be a slob.
Good job. Nice. That's the kind of dress code I like.
So everyone else started...
Don't be naked.
Everyone else relaxed a little bit, but we doubled down. We all started wearing suits and ties every day. And that was just our thing.
They can't stop you.
Yeah. And it actually appeared to bother upper management because it was very clearly a dress for the job you want, not the job you have situation, because we all knew how like important we were. And then we did a giant company photo for like this big website marketing thing.
A bunch of people in suits and standing next to a whole bunch of slobs.
They actually made all of us take off our suits and ties for the photo. It's because only and then in the photo they composited together. Like we didn't take the photo all at once because that's
no one
dumb.
has a panorama.
Yeah, no one has a panorama that big for like a company with like hundreds of employees. So they like made this. All the management were wearing suits in the photo. Management had suits, we didn't. And
they wanted
I
to
quit.
make it clear in the photo who was the manager. And
I quit not long after that. And yeah, I got promoted by quitting, not by dressing up at my stupid company every day. The moral is quit to get promoted. Don't.
It's actually true. Like I've known this for a long time that if you just keep if I just kept changing jobs, like every time recruiters called me, I said yes. I just kept changing
You'd
jobs.
be CTO of some like dumpo company by now.
Like I'd have so much more monies, but it's like, do I really want to do that? Maybe. It's like do I go to a bunch of shitty jobs and keep changing like twice a year to move up and up and up?
See, I did that, but I did it every 4 years. And actually, it's weird because now I'm in my 5th year at this company. I haven't quit yet.
I'm in my 7th year.
Whoa, Scott, the only thing I've done other than GeekNights and Kineticon, I've never done anything in my life for 7 years.
Yeah, it's a lot of years.
Yeah, but
there's nowhere to go.
Every time I've quit, I've basically like jumped up one full corporate rung or whatever. And it actually worked out super well. But the one thing about quitting like when you quit is that there's that moment when you walk out the door of, oh yeah, all that stuff that I had to take care of is someone else's problem now.
And then
no one can call me.
Now there's new stuff that's your problem.
But the new stuff is new. So I can ask questions and be like, wait, well, no, I don't want to do that. What's this? No, that's not part of my job. I did not take this job to do that. But yeah, outdressing your coworkers or any of that, like dress for the job you want, only seems to work in the kinds of jobs that I would never want and never seemed to work in any job I ever had.
Yeah.
In fact, the people when I worked in that hospital, all the people who dressed like above their station in the job were kind of not good at their job tryhards who were obviously tryhards. And
Yeah, if I see someone doing that, it reeks of effort.
Yep. And the moral is never reek of effort.
I mean, I know people who do it who aren't reeking of effort, but it still feels like,
Yeah, I feel like I could do that more easily if clothing was not the one thing I have to go to a physical store mostly to buy. Now there is
I mean, just do it if it's a thing that you like. Like you want to do
Yeah.
it. Like you would do it even if you had no job.
like some of our friends are way more fashionable than us, obviously, and that's because that's something they care about, and that's awesome.
It's
Maybe
it's a geekery like any other.
So I found a service. I will not say the name of it on the show. There's a couple of them now. They're basically Blue Apron for clothes.
I've seen a lot of those, and they all work slightly differently. And I thought about trying one,
I thought about doing one too.
I went on YouTube, and a lot of people like opening and reviewing different ones. There's a guy who got one box from all of them,
Whoa.
and he reviews like all the different ones, and it's like the problem is they're all way expensive, and it's like, well, fuck that.
Yeah, because Blue Apron does not cost me that much more than groceries.
See, what I really need is not someone to pick out the clothes for me, is I need a tailor to make all the clothes fit me perfectly.
Yeah,
Because
so-
even if you go to the store and it's like, I've determined that I am medium, it's like, it's still like for example, my arms are long, right? So I'll buy clothes that fit in every aspect except the sleeves are too short. And if I go up one size, okay, the sleeves are the right length, but it's like a balloon now.
So Scott, I don't have that many, but I gotta tell. So this is definitely a like rich person thing.
So I need, it's like I need, and any human being is a slightly different size. So even it's very rare that you will be a person where you can buy clothes from the store that will be 100% fitting you perfectly.
Because I'm so
you
skinny,
can find the store for you.
H&M is the store for me. Their shit fits me real good because I'm skinny
that'll
and
fit
tall.
you 90%. But 100% is hard to achieve.
So, Scott,
and if
I
you
have
have a
multiple
weird
tiers.
body, it's even harder. So it's like, no matter who you are, it's like I want a tailor that will make everything fit me 99%.
I got multiple tiers of like fitted stuff, and there's one level like you get something that has all the measurement, like you have yourself measured by a tailor, and you buy a dress shirt where all the measurements match you.
Yeah.
That's real good.
I mean, if you're buying fancy clothes, you're obviously going to get them tailored. But I'm talking like tailor my jeans, tailor my underwear, to everything.
So
everything
I have
perfect.
several fancy dress shirts that I got mostly for free through work connections because I did, as wealthy as I am, I'm still not the kind of person who will just like hire tailors to tailor me clothes.
That's a lot of money. Also.
It is, you think it's a lot of money. It is so much more money than you think it is, unless you know enough to know how to get a cheap tailor like in Chinatown.
You could also hire a personal stylist too. And
It's pretty cheap to like get a tailor to like make you a custom suit and like suit stuff. But if you want like regular old dress shirts or anything that's like a little bit out of the ordinary, it's a lot harder to do unless you have a lot of knowledge, a connection, or a lot of money. But I have several dress shirts that are like 100% custom tailored with way more measurements than normal tailoring does, and custom, like my arms fall a certain way and my shoulders are a certain way, so they're tailored specifically to me. Holy fuck, are they the most comfortable things in the world? And it's like Oakley's. Like, Oakley's not the best sunglasses. Their only power is that they kind of make, like, they look good on anyone. The tailored shirts, they just make me look like a better human being. Like, they make me look...
Clothes fitting is what makes them look good more than anything else.
That's
right?
why I got a lot of respect
If
for...
you got you could go and buy like a $10,000, fancy shirt with a name brand on it, and if it doesn't fit you perfectly, it's gonna look ugly. And you could go to the store and buy a $5, thing from the like what's it called?
The discount bin?
Yeah, whatever.
The rack?
Yeah. The shittiest, Goodwill. You could
Right
buy,
off the turnip truck?
You could buy clothes from Goodwill, and if they fit you perfectly, they're gonna look good.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
I'll
Fitting
wear
is the
your
most important
granddad's
thing.
clothes.
Right.
But custom tailored clothing, I got to admit, if I got a lot richer, that's the thing. The two things I would probably waste a ton of money on and do like rich person bullshit with would be traveling and custom clothes.
Now, there is one problem, though, with the tailoring, is that if your body changes...
Well, then the tailor changes it. And actually, that, at least for now, is not a problem. I have a philosophy that I decided on in middle school. I decided when I was in 8th grade, because I got a little bit of a gut, probably from drinking 9 or 10 Dr. Peppers a day, and then I worked out and that gut went away. But I decided that my waist, whatever that size was, would never get bigger, and I would never in my life ever buy pants that were larger than the pants I had at that time. Ever. So if my gut started not fitting in my pants, I'm fucked. I either have to squeeze in or lose weight. And I'm pretty sure I can keep that going for the rest of my life.
You know what happens, though, is that in the winter, and in the summer, and then it's like, well, at least that works because I have summer clothes and winter clothes.
Yep, and you know what?
My shorts can have a smaller waist than my jeans.
I actually have that problem. My shorts do not 100% fit me in the winter, and in the summer, they almost fall off of me because I just get crazy skinny in the summer.
Yeah, but that's how it works.
Yeah, but I pretty much have decided that barring catastrophic illness or injury, I will never need different sizes of clothes from what I wear now.
Mm-hmm. Well, you get old and you get shorter, and stuff will happen.
I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna be that skeletal man who's still jogging when he's 90. I hope.
His clothes from 40 years ago don't fit him.
No, just cinch it in, just belt it up. You can cinch in way easier than you can cinch out.
That's not gonna look good though.
No, it's not. But at that point, I'm basically just a hanger. So.
Okay, I go home. I'm hungry.
This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geek Nights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geek Nights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.
The patrons for this episode of Geek Nights, in order of the amount of money they give us on a continuing basis, are Alan Joyce, Rebecca Dunn, Nicholas Brandow, Heidi McNichol, Amanda Duchette, James David White, Christian Kuntz, Construction Noises, MyStady.com, Sean Hayworth, William Eisenrose, Jeremy Miner, Chris Reimer, and Thomas Hahn, Brian Fisher, Sailor Vista, Vince Clortho, Keymaster of Kozer, Vulgus, Zildrohord, Lord of Seabull, Iggy Kid, Matthew Smith, Kajar Thompson, Joe Shiro, Joe Star, Tyler Eller, Don Schleich, Sean Yeager, Clinton Walton, Ren from New Zealand, Robert, Ryan Perrin, Drew Openlander, Rare Lavelle, Brian Cedrone, Rochelle Montanona, Finn Eric Silverrod, Chris Reimer, and Thomas Hahn. Chris Midkiff, Chris Knox, you thought this was going to be Thomas Hahn, but it was me, Dio, Sam Cordry, Daniel Redmond, Sean Klein, Chris Reimer, and Thomas Hahn. And a large number of people who give less than $5 a month, which is totally fine, because frankly, if everyone who listens to Geek Nights gave us just $1 a month, we'd have enough money to do a lot of crazy crap. So I don't necessarily expect people to give us a lot of money. We are working on what we're going to use that money for. It's still in a queue. We'll let you know of every specific thing we spend it on. We're vaguely looking at, outside of obvious basic stuff like buying new equipment and doing some stuff in Australia, we might do some sort of Essen extravaganza in 2018, independent of very likely starting our convention in hopefully 2017. But anyway, like I said, we're back. Scott's still coughing, so I can't really get the Q&As done until he's not having hideous hacking fits constantly in the background of the show. And you'll see a lot more videos in a hurry, including maybe tomorrow a Civ 5 video. And now I leave you with Something Strange, and this time, because I made it my thing of the day, you'll know that this Something Strange is the same thing that I got other Something Stranges from. It's a YouTube series called Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Time is a tool you can put on the wall or wear it on your wrist. The past is far behind us. The future doesn't exist.
Oh, what's the time?
It's 9:15. Time to have a bath.
What do you mean? We're already clean.
Scrub, scrub, scrub till the water's brown. Time is a ruler to measure the day. It doesn't go backwards, only one way. Watch it go round like a merry-go-round. Going so fast like a merry-go-round.
Let's go on a journey through all time. A time that's changing all the time. It's time to go to time.
But we don't really want to. We're going to miss our show.
Don't be stupid, friends. Come on, it's time to go. Time was old, like a Victorian time.
With cobbles and plague and speaking in rhyme.
With cobbles and chimneys, a simpler time.
bundle of slime.
This tree that is old has circles
A
inside.
tree that is older has shriveled and died.
The apple that's fresh is ripe to the core.
And I rot over time and I'm not anymore.
Time could be told by the moon or the sun, but time flies fast when you're having fun. There's a time and a place for mucking around.
Like
And
birthdays.
camping.
I'm friends with my dad.
And then what happened after the olden days?
Time went new and got old like history. Stuff from the past went into a mystery.
An old man
But
died.
look, a computer. Everything's cool. It's the future.